Good morning. It's time for us to try something a little different today. I am actually going to attempt to do a piece in my Bible. I got these great acrylic paints from Heather Blair. There's her name, Heather Blair. And she is offering these on Amazon, and I was just astounded by these paints. She's got a wide variety of colors in here. She did a lot of research to find a set that would be really, really good for working in Bibles and doing journaling with. They are super smooth. It's like painting with butter. So we're going to try something out in here today. I'm going to start with a coat of Art Basics Clear Gesso. I did a little bit of research and read that this is one of the best ones. There's a blog from a lady in, she's out of London. I believe her name is Rebecca Jones, and she recommends this one. So I'm just going to take this clear gesso, and I'm going to put a oops, I forgot to put my sheet of paper under there to protect, there we go, the underlying sheets. And I'm just going to put this clear gesso, super thin layer, all over my Bible page. What this is going to do is it's going to give that super thin paper just a little bit of body so it can hold up to the paint. And it's also going to create a barrier, which is really the most important part. It is going to keep the colors from bleeding through so that you'd be able to paint again on the other side. So there we go. So I'm just going to pause for a second and we'll let that dry. All right, that's nice and dry. It hardly took any time. It's a little bit damp, but not bad. It's dry enough I can start at least the next layer. So I'm going to start with, I think, kind of a peachy color today. So these come in little tubes, and then you take this lid and just pop a hole right there. And I'm just going to squirt a little bit out right onto the paper. You could, see, look how nice and smooth those are. Oh, just love it. So I'm going to spread that out. And these are, as we build up some layers, it might cover some of the words up more, but you can also see that it has a nice transparency to it in the beginning. Like it's an opaque color, but it's still transparent enough that you can see some of the words. So when you're doing something on the side in the margin of your Bible, and if you cover up a little bit of the words, it's not going to be a big deal. All right, so we're going to start there just like that. And even while that's still wet, I am going to add another color. I'm feeling orangish today. So we're going to add in some circles. I made this stencil with, this was a granola box, granola bars. And then so that's why it's got kind of this funny edge to it. But then I took my circle punches and just punched out a bunch of circles. So we're going to add some circles in with that. This time I'm going to actually put a little paint over here to dab into. I'm just using a piece of scratch paper there, but you can use waxed paper. Works really good because then the paint won't soak into it at all. Plastic, or I like pie plates a lot because they're easy to wash up. Let's see, let's add a little white. And I like these little tubes because I can, just like you saw me just do there, I can squirt just a touch out onto my brush even and not get too much. And that means I'm not wasting a bunch of paint. I hate wasting paint. It's like one of my biggest pet peeves. So there we go. I've got kind of a fun start on a little background there. The next thing I'm going to use is a doily. You can see I've used this a whole bunch of times. These are just those basic doilies you can get in the party section pretty much anywhere. And let's see. You know what? I really want a pink. So I'm going to take some red and a little bit more of that white. There we go. I like that color. Maybe a little bit more white there. Oops. All right, and now what I'm going to do is just position this on here, and I'm going to just dab some paint right through there. And on the outside edge of the doily, I don't want that hard brush line, so I'm going to use my fingers to smear it. And kind of blend it in. So it almost is just going to kind of fade into some of these other I'm going to really dab that paint in there, make sure it gets down inside all those little holes. So I get that lovely lacy pattern. So that when I pull back, there it is. Yay! Okay, and then I'm going to take this and rub, kind of add some of that pink to some other spots on my page. Ooh, and look how there's the other colors are kind of picking up. Ooh, I liked that. We're just going to leave that. I'm not going to touch that spot. And then I'm going to pick up just a little bit more of that and add in. Now, part of the reason this is working really well together so far is I'm using colors that blend well. Sometimes people will try and do something that has blue with yellow, and you're going to get some greens or something, that's fine, or you try and mix some purple in with yellow, and before you know it, you have brown. That's one thing you have to be a little bit careful about, is making sure that you're using colors that are going to work together. Always think about that color wheel and how things are going to react. All right, so I'm going to let this dry for a little bit. We're going to hit pause. All right, this is all dry. I can run my hand across it. And look, on this side, you don't even see any of that color. Like, there's a little bit of a ghost, but not much. So that gesso really did do a nice job of making a barrier. And the paper is not stiff. It's still just a nice piece of paper. And it didn't add a ton of thickness to it either. So I'm going to add some lettering here. I'm going to put the True Word of God. I always write it out in pencil first. I was looking or saw on another blog, another artist's, that she calls it a skeleton of letters. And then she comes back in and she might add details or shadows or other colors to the letters as she goes. But I always write it in pencil first. That way I have an opportunity to really think about the layout, to change it if I need to. Like if I get the letters too close together or it's going to run off the page. By sketching them in first, you're just giving yourself a little bit more wiggle room. I'm going to add some serifs. And I'm going to make the word God a little bit thicker. And if you do the pencil on top of watercolors or acrylic, your chances of erasing are much better. Once you've painted over the pencil lines, you're done. That's all you're going to get. So now I'm going to come in and just add a little bit of, I'm going to highlight some of those circles a little bit more. Add a little bit of detail in there. Just make it look kind of like there's some stitches. Because I like how subtle those circles are, but I want them to show up just a little bit more. So I'm going to leave that like that. And then I'm going to bring in some Prismacolor colored pencils and add even a little bit more. I just kind of like to scribble in spots. Just kind of adds a little depth. So I've used peach and white. I'm going to use some pink. Kind of depth, deepen some of that pink in there. Even add like a little bit of a hot pink there. Brighten up. And I can add little bits in spots where I wouldn't have, it would have been harder to add little bits with the paint. So there is a very abstract background. And now I would be able to come in with another pen and add some more journaling, let's say. So I'm just going to write here with a Sharpie. And there you go. Thanks for joining me today. Bye-bye.